Photoshop video tutorials by Andrew Buckle. In this tutorial I'm just going to show you how you can quickly load and add gradients, install them. Now, first thing to do, here's the gradient. Here's a gradient. It's just created via the gradient tool. Now you can use gradients in a number of places. Gradient tools probably one of the most obvious ones, but you can use them in layer and new fill layer and gradient. You can use them in layer styles as well, so you can see gradient overlay there. Okay, so how do you actually add some new gradients? Well, actually there's thousands of gradients on the Graphic Extras website. Really worth checking out all the GRD files there. They're all in GRD format. The GRD, there's 32,000 of them. You can find lots of other gradients on the web. They're just great for adding colour in thousands of different ways. And you can, of course, modify them further with effects and everything. But now, just quickly to the actual installation. Now, I'm just going to use Photoshop CC 2017 as an example, but it works basically the same sort of approach in with other versions as well. Now, you've got, this is on a Mac, on a PC, basically it's program files, that's the key folder. This is applications, you've got applications there, and what you want to do is find Adobe Photoshop CC 2017, go to the presets folder. You've got presets, got a whole range of things, contours, curves, custom shapes, etc., exposure, okay, and well as Flash 3D, and you've got gradients. Right, that's where you want to stick the GRD file. You can also, if you want to, you can stick them into your library area or user data area over on the PC. You can use them different section. Now, that's okay. Say maybe like you've got problems with like privilege, etc. So you can just stick them in your user account. But I prefer with, obviously you need the password for privilege to add them to this folder, unless you're using, of course, your admin account. Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, up to you, of course. What you can do, you can just quickly go to your, the gradients, GRD, and just add them into that folder. I say, might come up and ask you for privilege, permissions, etc. to put it there. So once it's there, then you can go back to Photoshop and then just select the gradient tool and then go over here and you've got a whole range of different gradients. Now what you can do then, just go down here and this is the selection of files that were actually you could see there. So just go back, you can just see colour harmonies, etc. There it is, colour harmonies 1, weirdly out of order. Anyway, go there and you can also see these other ones. Now, where are they from? Well, they're, like I said, they're the app data ones. They're the ones I've stored in my library. So they're just, but they get slightly separated, it's a little bar. So any you add into that folder will be put in here instead of dispatch. Now, personally, actually I quite like the replace command. I often do that more than anything because I've got a few versions of Photoshop and I just go to a particular folder and I just select it that way. It really depends really what you want to do. But you can also use load. Now load, that just loads them, adds them, so you get more and more and more and more added there. And you can see, just going to use maybe linear there, going to flatten that, and then just apply it like that, just apply it over the top. You can select any of these gradients and you can see the design, you can move it around. There's a whole range of different, you've got a radial one, you've got elliptical, you've got a diamond, sorry, angle one, reflected, and the diamond one there. The one, like I said, the angle one. The angle one's quite nice, but you do have this sort of unusual break sometimes, and you have to work around that. You can have the same colour both sides. You click on that, you can put another colour there, and red there, so it joins. Really up to you again. You can also obviously apply at different angles, different positions, etc. Now, so that's a quick and easy way of replacing. You can also modify them as well via the gradient editor. That's just basically select the gradient tool, click there, bring up the gradients, and you can see the designs. You can modify them, tweak them there. You can add maybe opacity, so you can set that to fade that, so you can apply it again. You can see different effects, create some really nice, unusual, abstract designs that way. And again, I say layer and new fill layer is another way of adding gradient. Click OK and you can see the gradient there. It just becomes a layer, which is quite handy as well. combine them as well. That's another great thing with gradients. So you can add it over the top of images like text, you can add it over other images, photos, etc. So you can go, like I say, apply that, and then just use that as blending mode. You can just say difference and apply that over there. And create some very abstract designs which can be then modified using sort of like some of these effects. Okay, there's another way for loading gradients, and it's probably quite a nice way as well. If you go over here, you've got again go over to the gradient tool, and then you've just got this little option over here, the various presets, and you can just select a preset there and you can load one. Now that one isn't included in the gradients. You can actually add ones here that are not included in the standard gradient. So you just go back to this gradient, you can see there, drop down, there's no entry like that. Well, that's just as a preset over here that's been stored. So what you can do, the great thing about that is also it stores the actual tool. So you can actually say there I'm using the diamond one, and also with that one I'm using lighten. So you can actually straight away just create a quick and interesting gradient tool effect which can be stored for permanent use if you wish, and just apply that numerous ways there. So that's another way of using gradients and then bringing them into Photoshop. Really quite useful. And of course, as with the other presets, you can actually just say there, you can actually go down there and use save tool presets. So you can actually save that and then load it as well. And it's a great combination. Like I say, you can use it with brushes, you can use it with other things as well. So it's a nice sort of gradient feature, and you see a range of different bobs there. Okay, that's a quick run through of some of the features of loading gradients and installing them for permanent use. Hope you found this of interest. Thank you much.